Basically, you know, a book like this doesn't affect the communities themselves, and I knew that when I started this book, ultimately the only reason to do the book was, I don't know, how do I say this without sounding corny, but to do my best to do the right thing, and I think it's the right thing to give back to those kids in the way that I know them. Why? Because the book wasn't supposed to take this long, and these guys, you know, they wanted me as a fan, and for many years, you know, they were volunteers, and I think, you know, they always say it's like a band, you know, everybody fights, and, you know, like, but I think sometimes that's the process of, it's sometimes a creative process, and sometimes unpleasant, but talking to them today, the sum of it is a book that we're all proud of. And how did I convince them to stay? Oh, I just begged. I mean, there were times when I used guilt. I was like, you just threw your baby out the window. How could you do this? And eventually, but so they're here and they're committed. So. From the time the research started about 7 years, like the ideas began about 7 years. I will not be silent all this time spent in vain, wasted years, wasted gain. All is lost, hope remains, and this war's not over. There's a light, there's a sun, taking all these shattered ones. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in another life, or perhaps if work dries up, I can be a travel agent now. I mean, I am the best fucking trip planner there is. I feel like if you want to go somewhere dangerous, I will find you good security and good places to stay and really interesting people to speak to. Basically, I mean, Amnesty International introduced me to a local human rights organization for the first 2 trips. Yeah, the first 2, I would say. And from there, I worked with a local human rights organization where basically we discussed the stories to do. And then there were weeks and weeks of planning. And then organization, travel, and then the research and sending getting the research together and dealing with the currency in the case of English insurance and the guards, which I still am not sure were needed on that trip. I mean, I think it might have been a way of an income. You know, it felt really silly, like wearing a cape the whole time with armed guards. But I mean, it was definitely a lot of planning that went involved. You can't really go to those places without doing a lot. Theoretically, but you know, as I'm sure all of you have experienced, you make plans and shit when you get there. So basically, we had lots of plans, and we just kind of all went out the window, and then we just, you know, in terms of the brothels, like in on the Burmese border, I really didn't know who I was going to meet. So basically, and in terms of certainly the writing of the kids, you know, you don't know what you're going to get, so it was very improvisational once I got there, which is the spirit of the book, really working with the environment. I mean, in the case of the Malawi chapter, I had a chance to take a look at that. There was one person in particular who basically changed the way I thought about all of this. Instead of thinking about this is terrible what's happened to all of these people, she taught me about grace, and she taught me about kindness, and she taught me about the fact that in spite of these terrible things that had been done to her, she taught me that she deals with it every day in the most beautiful of ways. So, and she helped me one day because I got really lost, and she helped me find my way back to where I was supposed to be. I mean, literally lost on the side of a road. So the goal is, in terms of the Malawi program, is to give her a job because she works in a gas station 7 days a week. And I should add that the creative writing program, the Malawi program, is a pilot project. The goal is to employ local teachers. It's not run by us because what do we know